Vancouver's housing market right now is in a standstill. Over 13,000 active listings are on the market. Only 1,648 homes sold last month. That's 28.7% below the 10-year average for sales. Homes are sitting, buyers aren't buying, and nobody seems to be able to explain exactly why or what breaks the deadlock. Now, the easy explanation is interest rates. Rates went up, affordability dropped, buyers stepped back. And yes, that's part of the story. But rates have come down. The Bank of Canada has cut rates multiple times last year. Affordability has improved, and yet sales are still at a 25-year low. And so if it's not interest rates, what is actually going on? Today, I'm breaking down the real mechanics of why Vancouver's market has frozen, and more importantly, what it means for you. Let's start with the data, because I think a lot of people are operating on feelings about this market rather than facts. And the facts are pretty striking. In 2025, Vancouver recorded over 23,000 home sales. That's the lowest annual sales volume in 25 years. To put that in context, a balanced market in Greater Vancouver typically sees somewhere between 28,000 and 32,000 sales per year. We were nearly 20% below that low end of that range for the entire year. On the supply side, we currently have over 13,000 active listings. That's 37% above the 10-year average. So we have significantly more homes available than normal and significantly fewer buyers than normal. That combination gives us about 11.4 months of supply. Anything above 6 months is technically a buyer's market. We are at almost double that. And on prices, the benchmark price for a detached home in Greater Vancouver, $1.835 million. That's down 8.8% year over year. Condos and townhomes have also seen a significant price correction from their 2022 peaks. So here's what is actually happening. And I think this is the most accurate way to describe the current Vancouver market. It's a standoff. On one side, you have sellers. Many of them bought or refinanced at or near peak prices in 2021 and 2022. They have a number in their head, what their home was worth at the peak, and they are psychologically anchored to that number. Selling for less feels like losing. So they're either listing at the price that market won't support and sitting, or they're not listing at all. On the other side, you have buyers. They can see that prices have been falling. They're reading the forecasts. Royal LePage is predicting another 3.5% drop through Q4 of 2026, and they're thinking, why would I buy that today when it might be cheaper in 6 months? So they're waiting. Sellers won't come down to where buyers are, buyers won't come up to where sellers are, and the result is exactly what we're seeing. A market where homes sit, sales volumes hit 25-year lows, and nobody moves. So here's the important question. What breaks the standoff? And what does it mean for you if you're sitting on one side of it? Let's talk about buyers first, because I think the buyer hesitation right now is more nuanced than just waiting for prices to drop. Yes, some buyers are waiting for further drops, of course, but the deeper issue is confidence. Buyers in this market don't feel confident that right now is the time. And that lack of confidence comes from 3 places. First, economic uncertainty, tariff concern, potential trade war impacts on the Canadian economy, job market uncertainty. When people aren't sure about their income security, they don't make that $1.5 million decision. It's that simple. Second, the fear of catching a falling knife. Nobody wants to buy at $1.8 million today and then watch it become $1.6 million next year. That fear is rational, and it's keeping a lot of financially ready buyers on the sidelines. And third, the mortgage stress test. Even with rates cut, the stress test means buyers need to qualify at a rate significantly higher than what they'll actually pay. For a lot of upsizers, the math is on the new mortgage payment, and it's genuinely uncomfortable even if they have strong equity. So we've got a frozen market, a buyer-seller standoff, and 3 things keeping buyers on the sidelines. But here's what I really want to get into, because this is where it gets interesting. Because within this frozen market, there are actually real opportunities for both buyers and sellers. You just need to know where to look. Let's start with buyers, because honestly, this is one of the best buyers markets Vancouver has seen in a long time, and most buyers don't realize it. Opportunity 1, negotiating power. In the last hot market, buyers were waiving conditions, going way over asking, competing against 10 other offers. That world is gone right now. Today you can make an offer with conditions. You can negotiate on the price. You can ask for inclusions. You can take your time doing your due diligence. That is enormous. Don't underestimate it. Opportunity 2, motivated sellers. With over 13,000 listings on the market and sales at a 25-year low, there are a lot of sellers who've been sitting for 30, 60, 90 days and are genuinely motivated to make a deal. These are the sellers where the real value can be found. A home that's been sitting for 60 days in this market, that seller is having a very different conversation with their realtor than they were on day one. Opportunity 3, selection. Right now you have more choice than buyers have had in years. You're not scrambling to make a decision in 24 hours on the only available property in your target neighborhood. You can take your time, compare options, and find the right home, not just the available home. Now for sellers, the opportunity is different, but it's real. The sellers who are winning right now are the ones who have accepted the market reality and priced accordingly. A correctly priced, well-presented home is still selling. The competition isn't other well-priced homes, it's the sea of overpriced homes that the buyers are ignoring. Be the right priced option and you stand out immediately. So what actually breaks this standstill? What's the catalyst that gets this market moving again? There are 3 things that could shift this market in the next 12 to 18 months. First, further rate cuts. The Bank of Canada has room to cut further. If rates come down meaningful, mortgage payments become more manageable and the buyer confidence starts to return. This is probably the single biggest lever. Second, seller capitulation. At some point, sellers who need to move, life changes, job changes, family changes, will accept the market reality and price their homes where buyers actually are. And more sellers do this transaction, volume picks up and the market starts to find its floor. And third, economic stability. If the tariff uncertainty resolves, if the job market stays strong, and if people feel confident about their financial future, buyer confidence returns. And buyer confidence is ultimately what drives this market more than any other single factor. Now, nobody knows exactly when these catalysts hit. Anyone who tells you they know precisely when this market turns is not being honest with you. What I can tell you is that the people who are positioned and prepared when it does turn are the ones who make the best moves. Vancouver's market is frozen right now. The standstill is real, but frozen doesn't mean dead, and it doesn't mean opportunity doesn't exist. It just means you need to understand the market you're actually in, not the one from 2 years ago. If you want to figure out what this market means for your specific situation, whether you're thinking about selling, buying, or both, book a free call with me. The link is in the description. Let's look at your numbers and figure out your smartest move right now. And if you want to understand the step-by-step process making your move in this market, go watch this video next. It walks you through everything you need to do in the right order to make a successful move, even in a market like this one. The market is what it is. Let's make it work for you. See you in the next one.